contracts until Tuesday of the following week. By that time, I got a pre-approval letter and my people were allowed to move forward with buying the property. And it was just because of the relationship I had with that agent. Okay? So you're gonna run into a lot of assholes. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Does anybody here have a story?
Gosh. Let me think. Hey, it rings a bell.
Excuse me.
Her first
In
name.
this business that aren't willing to do that, and you're gonna know who they are, just try to, if it becomes too much of an issue, go to George, get George involved, and I guarantee you that if you're in the right, George will stand up for you and he'll help you.
We spent a lot of time on the phone.
And until you become a little bit more seasoned and you can stand up for yourself, that's what I actually recommend. Because there are a lot of agents that will take advantage of you and take advantage of your clients. And the biggest thing, like I said, that we do is to make sure that our clients are represented and are taken care of. So the next page, we're going into appraisals now. Anytime you're getting a loan, anytime they're getting a mortgage, there will always be an appraisal. What's the difference between an appraisal and a home inspection?
Appraisal is the value of the home. I mean, big
What-
legal,
What is the point of an appraisal? Who is it being done for?
the lenders that have the home floor.
Correct. It is not being done for the benefit of your client. A home inspection is being done for the benefit of your client. Your client hires that home inspector to nitpick that house. That is what they do. And find any and all problems with that house.
The lender, they require it too, don't they? I mean, it's.
They do, but okay. This is the home inspection report.
Mhm.
Y'all see that, it's a book, right? An appraiser is not gonna do what a home inspector does.
Right.
An appraiser is not gonna get up and crawl underneath the house if it's a conventional and check the pillars that if they're rotted or that it has a vapor barrier. I mean, they may open the little thing and shine their light and say that there's no vapor barrier, but they're not gonna do what a home inspector's gonna do,
Right.
okay?
Oh, I thought you asked for water.
I was seeing if anybody needed one.
Okay. I got you. So an appraisal, so that's the difference between, and a lot of people get that confused. They think that an appraisal is gonna be done for their benefit. It is, but it's not really done for your benefit,
Oh, I
it's done
guess
for
my
the
question was just,
lenders.
I thought the lender also requires both, because
No.
they wanna know,
No,
okay,
they do not.
okay.
A lender only requires an appraisal. Again, a home inspection is just done for the benefit of your client, for your buyer. That is, and I got 3 good ones that I use. Caleb Birch with Cornerstone is usually who I use, but Frank Montague is really good. Scooter Holiday is really good. Again, when you're building your business, you're building a team of people, okay? I think me and Mike have had this conversation about you are building a team of lenders, you're building a team of home inspectors, you're building a team of closers. The list kind of goes on and on and on of septic people that are going to come out and do your septic wells, same thing, that are going to do the best job, and you're not going to have to worry about it. You got enough on your plate as an agent, and when you get busy, to worry about than having to worry about what that home inspector's doing or what your lender's doing. Now, I will call my lenders. Go ahead.
When do you pay them,
When you pay who?
the inspector and,
Okay, so
the appraiser is paid by the bank, but the
Right.
inspector,
you're, most of the time, the payment is made before they get the home inspection report. So before your home inspectors release the home inspection report, they're gonna have to be paid.
okay.
So they may come out.
But you as the agent pay them?
No.
Okay.
No, you do not.
It's either in the contract, the buyer or the seller pays, right?
Huh? No, the buyer pays.
Buyer pays for home.
Buyer always is gonna pay for the home inspection. Very, very rarely would you have the seller pay, because the thing is, once this report is done, it is owned by your buyer, okay? They actually have to give approval to even share it with us, okay? So this is strictly done for your buyer's benefit. It approximately costs them about $200 to $300. That $200 to $300 could save them hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It seems like, just from my own experience, like personal experience, doesn't like an FHA loan require?
No.
Some loan the lady was getting. That was
An
9 or
appraisal, always an
over.
appraisal.
It was some kind of government loan that she was getting. It was in Memphis, and it was a long time.
Now, I will tell you the difference between a conventional appraisal and a VA appraiser and a FHA appraiser are gonna be much different.
Maybe that's
And the
what it was.
guidelines that they look at,
That's what it was, cause like, it was an older house and we had to put up
Yes.
handrails on the porch.
it's probably a VA loan.
Ugh,
It was probably a VA loan. FHA's really, really strict about that too. Like if say there's a window and there's a crack in that window has to be replaced. You cannot sell that house through a
Well,
FHA loan.
that was one of the things too, cause
You
it was
have to
a
replace that
50-year-old house
Yeah.
and like, the
So you
porch.
had to have a home inspection for an FHA loan in Memphis?
No,
Is that-
no, no, no,
Okay.
I
no,
was just
no,
asking
no, no.
that. I was just asking if you
No.
had to.
I was
No,
just-
no. A home inspection is an extra.
Yeah,
It is literally done by your buyer, for your buyer,
for insurance.
that helps your buyer make sure they know what they get
So that was
and
not
what
required.
they're buying.
Okay.
Okay, now, once that home inspection is done, you as the agent will go to your client and talk to them about what repairs you want done. Okay, and that's where I was talking about the second part of the negotiation phase after you do this contract is negotiating those repairs. Okay, so just to be very, very clear, an appraisal is done by the bank for the bank. A home inspection is done by the buyer for the buyer and paid for by the buyer. Okay? I know they pay for the appraisal too, but that's usually done at closing and that's also within their fees. But that is, even though the buyer is paying for it, that is done for the mortgage company. It is not done for your client. Okay? And it's more for value than it is for repairs. It is really, an appraisal is more for finding the market value of a property. They will ask for certain repairs, like I did have one that asked for, there was some missing shingles, there was a hole in the living room, and then the garage, which we'd actually already done these repairs through the home inspection, but the appraiser actually hit it on the exact same things. The garage door was rotted out. So that's the other thing too, rotted wood, FHA is not okay with rotted wood. There has to be an oven or a range in the home. The heat has to work. They don't care about the air conditioning. I don't know why when we're in the south, but the heat
They've never
has
done
to
that.
work on an FHA loan. Has to. So those are some of the things. But again, that's where you go to a lender like Micah and really kind of, if you think there's going to be an issue, somebody like Micah will be able to tell you, okay, well, I'm not too sure about this. And a lot of times what I'll do is I will actually share the listing to her. So when I'm going to show a property, I'll be like, okay, I know this person's pre-approved for an FHA loan. Here's the listing. Kind of look it over. Do you see any issues that I may need to discuss with my buyer beforehand before we put in a contract? And then that way you got the knowledge up front going into it that this rotted fascia board that's running across the front of the property is gonna have to be replaced and fixed. Okay, so again, knowledge is power in this business. So the more knowledge, the more expertise, the more you can make yourself look like you know what you're doing, the better off you're gonna be and the better off you're gonna look to your clients. Okay, so I'll read the next one. If applicable, property must appraise at or above purchase price, or buyer shall not be obligated to complete the purchase of the property, and all earnest money shall be refunded to the buyer, except when the buyer has failed to secure a timely appraisal in good faith. Failure of the buyer to make good faith efforts to secure a timely appraisal shall constitute a breach of this contract. Warranty and inspections sell without warranty or no home inspection. Very rarely are you gonna mark this box, unless they're a cash buyer, or if your buyer is just very adamant about not having a home inspection done. I always make number one, do not be the one to tell your buyer that they do not need a home inspection.
No.
Because that will come back and bite you in the butt. Like Michael was saying, where this young buyer came in and had black mold and stuff like that. Well, if that buyer's agent told that young man that he didn't need a home inspection, they can be held liable and they can be sued. Okay? So please, 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 please don't do that. So sell without warranty or home inspection. Buyer has inspected the property and finds the same satisfactory condition and does not wish to secure a home inspection. Buyer accepts the property in its condition as of effective date of this contract and acknowledges that neither seller nor listing broker nor selling broker or salesperson associated with this transaction have made any warranty express, implied, or otherwise as to the property except such express warranties as the party agrees to into a writing attached hereto, which shall survive closing. So again, if they say that they don't want a home inspection, there's a sheet here that says get a home inspection. If for some reason they are waiving that right, where is it? Right here. This one. I would actually put across here, buyer has waived the right to a home inspection, and then have them sign again at the bottom. So not only is it in the contract, it is also on this sheet of paper, so if that person comes back and says, well, he told me I don't need a home inspection, well, I have it signed in 2 places.
Yeah.
That you agreed not to have a home inspection done. Okay? So inspections. Contract is contingent upon satisfactory inspections to be conducted by buyer at buyer's expense. Buyer shall have 10 business days from effective date to conduct inspections. Buyer inspector or inspectors shall have the right to enter the property at reasonable hours within 24-hour time period notice. As designated inspection dates, seller shall provide unlimited access to the property and shall see that all utilities are on. And the fact of if you're dealing with a foreclosure, a lot of times that's not gonna happen. If you're dealing with a hood or something like that, most of the time the water's been shut off, the electricity's been shut off, and the seller's not gonna turn it back on. So you may have to have your buyer pay for a fee to come have the utilities turned back on. So just be careful about that when you're going into foreclosures or HUD properties.
Can you have them turned on for like a day?
Yeah, they will turn them on for 24 to 48 hours, but they're in charge of fee, and that fee is going to be your buyer's going to have to pay that fee. So, on designated inspection date, seller shall provide unlimited access to the property. Should seller fail to have utilities on, seller shall be responsible to the buyer for foreseeable loss or expense resulting from failed inspections. Within 10 business days of the inspection period, buyer shall submit a listing of repairs to the seller accompanied by relevant portions of any inspection reports, or waive this period. Buyer shall submit inspection contingency and proceed to closing. If buyer timely submits list of repairs accompanied by relevant portions of any inspection or inspection reports, buyer and seller shall have, I put to be determined, and I'll tell you all why in just a second, business days to resolve how listed items shall be handled. To handle this, contract shall be terminated and the buyer's earnest money shall be returned. This is a new construction. They have not started building the house yet. It is dirt. So in special stipulations, I went in, if you'll scroll down to special stipulations, it is on page, should look like this. Yep. In here, I put all inspections to be done when scope of work is complete, because they haven't started building the house yet.
220, it's like number 225.
Yep, line 225. Because they haven't started building the house, there's something to inspect yet. If you have a contingency, this is another one, if you're put in a contract and it's contingent upon your seller's house being sold before they can buy that property, put in there in the special stipulations, inspection period, if you wanna write this down, to start once buyer's home is under contract. So there again, it kind of protects your client. Because they could say, well, the inspection wasn't done within the first 10 business days of the contract going binding. Okay, because that's what the contract states. So there again, that protects your client. Because a lot of times what a listing agent, especially somebody like me, I'm gonna do a first right of refusal. And what a first right of refusal is saying that if somebody comes in with a non-contingency contract and wants to buy the house and they wanna close in 30 days, you have X amount of hours to remove your contingency of your house being sold or allow that next contract to come in. So you don't want to get your people in there to spend $200-300 on a home inspection if they don't know they're gonna be buying that house.
Right.
Because their house is not under contract yet. So there again, that kind of protects your people, that they still can have the home inspection done and it's still within the terms of the contract, okay? So final walkthrough. I usually do a final walkthrough the day before closing. That's just to make sure that everything's in the same order as when you put the contract in on the house. There are no holes in the wall. There's no scratches and dents all throughout the house from them moving. There's not a big scratch from here to the door where they tried to move the refrigerator or the washer and dryer and completely it scratches the floor. You know, those things need to, and if there are those problems, you don't close. Because if you close and allow those problems to be there,
Saying it's okay.
you're basically saying it's okay and you're not gonna be getting any kind of reimbursement for it. So if those things come up, there again, you can kinda go back to the seller and say, take pictures and say, this is what's going on. This is what we did when the final walkthrough happened. You know, what are we gonna do to rectify these issues? So, what time is it, y'all?
11:35.
Y'all wanna keep going or y'all wanna kind of stop?
I would say leave about 12, 10.
Everybody else okay?
I'm fine.
Alright, we'll keep going then. I just wanna make sure, does anybody, you wanna take a break for a minute? Everybody okay?
I need a biscuit.
Need a biscuit? Anybody else wanna take a break? Okay, let's take a 5-minute break real quick and then we'll come back. How about that? We can stop on that.
Right here?
Yep.